Good morning, University of Houston. I am your host, Kayla Newsom.
And I am Dante Rivera.
We hope you all had an amazing Thanksgiving break. My favorite food was definitely the mac and cheese.
Oh, I definitely love the turkey. And some little bread rolls too, delicious.
Super good. Well, for this morning's stories, we will highlight on how Generation Z is making a mark,
dealing with mental health during finals week,
updates on the Gabby Petito case,
and how our very own university plans to help an ongoing health crisis. But for right now, we have some quick updates for ongoing stories. America is set to run out of money. In September, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen warned Congress that the debt ceiling needs to be raised or America risks going into bankruptcy. President Joe Biden signed legislation that pushed the estimate of bankruptcy back until December 3rd. The clock is continuing to tick as Congress struggles to reach a solution.
On to other news, Brian Landry, who was the leading suspect in the Gabby Petito murder, committed suicide. His remains were found in the Florida Reserve, and his cause of death was from a gunshot wound to the head. On September 21st, 2021, Gabby Petito's body was found and ruled a homicide, but the suspect in question was her fiancé. Now both families are mourning, but where does this leave the Gabby Petito case?
SNL comedian Norm Macdonald passes away at 61. Norm Macdonald, who was a 5-year cast member at SNL, was known for his iconic deadpan humor and sharp wit.
I was watching Oprah and Dave talking about weed and booze. I don't do either of those. The hardest drug I ever did, LSD.
He passed away after a 9-year fight with cancer. Macdonald made the decision of keeping his battle with cancer discreet to not let it affect the way people saw him. He was committed to his job and loved putting a smile on the audience's face. Norm Macdonald was a true comedian who managed to find humor in any situation. His unique outlook on the world and surprising punchlines will be missed.
As the number of COVID-19 cases increase, the number of religious exemptions to avoid getting vaccinated have increased just as much. From Los Angeles to Washington, D.C., over 2,000 employees have used religious objections to avoid getting vaccinated. Many religious denominations have no objection to COVID-19 vaccines. However, an Oklahoma pastor, Jackson Lawmeyer, states, "We're not anti-vaxxers, we're just pro-freedom." However, does abusing religious exemptions to reject the vaccine going to cause more harm than help?
Let's get local. University of Houston receives $5 million to help combat HIV and AIDS. Biopharmaceutical company Gilead Sciences donated money to the University of Houston's Graduate College of Social Work to help combat the disease in the South. While rates of infection for HIV and AIDS are declining, the southern United States still makes up half of all cases. The university is planning to use the donation to continue to serve minorities within the local community.
Curtis Jackson, better known as his rapper name 50 Cent, is helping 75 Houston ISD students with an internship program. Kashmir, Worthing, and Wheatley High School students will complete a 12-week after-school course about business and entrepreneurship. The program will culminate in a competition where winners will receive seed money to start businesses. Jackson's philanthropic organization funded $300,000, and HISD plans to match that amount to help give these students amazing opportunities.
It's nice to see someone provide the next generation with opportunities to better their lives. Up next, I sat down with the assistant director at the Center of Student Media for guidance to help students our age. With increasing competition from YouTube and TikTok, the news industry is being forced to constantly evolve. For graduating comp students, this can mean having to join a workforce that is constantly firing on all cylinders. While some students may not have real-world experience, the assistant director for the Center of Student Media, Chris Walker, says there are things we can do right now that can help us.
So be adaptable. Don't just say, I want to be in front of the camera. Don't just say, I want to edit. Don't just say, I want to do this. You're going to have to learn how to do everything to make yourself more marketable.
Today, Chris can be found helping out students learn their way around a production set in the Kook TV studio. And although the way we consume our news media may be changing, Chris shows us that the effort that goes into making captivating media will remain the same. Up next, I sat down with a friend of mine to talk about how she's taking control of her own mental health. Although the holidays are supposed to be the most wonderful time of the year, to many college students it signifies one thing: finals. With the added threat of an ongoing pandemic, many students find that it can be difficult to manage their stress, causing school to weigh on their mental health.
I'm an engineering major, so it's incredibly hard. My finals, it's not even like, I'm not ready for them. I don't know what's going on.
Aria Shucker is a junior studying biomedical engineering here at the University of Houston and has had her own battles with mental health issues in the past. During our interview, Aria opened up to me about her personal journey.
I think a lot of the hardships I faced in my life are confidence-based insecurities and my relationship with myself and how I see myself and in result how I think other people see me.
In spite of her personal struggles, Aria has managed to find ways to overcome the hurdles in her life and applies what she has learned from them to help out in her academic career as well.
Just changing the way you think or look at a situation is the first step into doing absolutely anything. If your mind doesn't work, then how can your body work? If you don't start thinking those things, then how can you do the actions that lead to achieving the things that you want to achieve?
While there is still a stigma around mental health, it is important to realize that everybody has struggles of their own. And as finals begin, it is important that while checking in on our assignments, we also check in with ourselves. Aria provides us with an incredible example that although we may face hard times in our life, there are healthy and productive ways to solve our issues.
Tuning in to the morning news. Up next, we have Tom teaching us how to make holiday treats and discuss the top Christmas movies.
Back to you, Tom.